If you're rent stabilized in New York, you already know your budget is dependent on one thing, and that's the Rent Guidelines Board vote next summer. And as we know, Zoran wants a rent freeze, but that's only going to happen if a few political breaks go his way. One, he needs enough board appointments, but Eric Adams could stack the Rent Guidelines Board on his way out, and I'm gonna catch him at the 40-40 Club if he does do that. Two, he may not actually really influence the board until next year. And three, even Zoran's own board appointees could vote for something other than a 0% rent increase. But as a New Yorker, here's where it gets interesting. You don't have to just sit and pray to Fiorello LaGuardia. You can actually hedge your rent increase using predictive markets like Kalshi. Yup, that's the same platform your situationship uses to fuel his WNBA parlay addiction. And by the way, no, I'm not affiliated with Kalshi. They are demonic. They give late stage capitalism vibes, but they have interesting use cases, and I want to highlight one of the possible good ones that can be used. But more broadly, I think Zoran could use predictive markets strategically to help the entire city's affordable housing stock by one, making renters happy by freezing their rents, and two, making landlords happy by bringing their costs down. Sounds impossible, right? More on that in a second. But first, let me show you how this rent insurance works and if it's actually worth doing. For example, let's say your rent is $2,000 a month. The RGB voted for a 3% increase on a one-year lease renewal this past summer. That means now you'd pay $2,060 a month, that's $60 more a month, or $720 more a year. Obviously, that sucks. Here's how you hedge this using prediction markets. If a freeze fails, that's a no outcome. So if no wins, it pays out $1, so you'd be profiting 46 cents per no contract. So to offset the additional $720 in yearly rent you're now paying, you'd buy 1,566 no contracts, which costs around $845. Now I know what you're saying, Steven, this yearly rent increase is $720, but this hedge costs $845. Why would I pay for that? It's because the premium buys you certainty. The 54-cent price tells you the market thinks that the freeze won't happen. So you're effectively paying extra to remove that political risk from your life. For me personally, I definitely would not hedge at this price. Maybe if the no contract dropped to like 25 cents. But here's the irony. If the no contract drops that low, then that means the rent freeze is more likely. So do you even need to hedge at that point? By the way, landlords can do the opposite. This is obviously just an example. There's only like $12,000 worth of volume in this market, but this actually points to something much bigger that I think Zoran should look into. Predictive markets can actually help reshape the $7 trillion insurance market, especially in places like California and Florida, where insurance on homes is drying up fast. Zoran was just on the Flagrant podcast talking about a new insurer called the Milford Street Captive. Insurance costs are up over 100% since 2019, but predictive modeling is an effective approach to both cut costs and help protect against volatility. It often reduced claim costs by more than 10%, but only around 30% of professionals currently use it. So Zoran, Lena Khan, the whole crew could create public-private partnerships and use them in innovative ways to both lower costs for landlords and freeze rents for tenants. So everybody wins. Crazy, right? But what do you guys think? Let me know. I'm curious.